With tomorrow being the trade deadline, I've got a request that if anyone sees any trades that actually go down during the show today, put those in the comment section where you're watching, because I grew up a Twins fan. I am nervously watching to see whether Jose Barrios and Byron Buxton get moved. So it's a little bit of a tense time. If you see any trades go down, whether it be the Twins or otherwise, put them in the chat, because we're sitting on pins and needles here for the next, 25 hours as we get set for the trade deadline, but we can distract ourselves with some good MLB DFS for tonight. This is the FanDuel Live Q&A right here on the FanDuel YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter channels. My name is Jim Sonis. I am a senior writer and analyst for numberfire.com, here to take your questions for the next half an hour. No matter where you are watching, you can get your questions in. We'll take them via the YouTube chat, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch as well. Get them in. We'll answer them live here on air to get you set for Thursday night's 5-game main MLB DFS slate. Quick scheduling announcement. We will not be here tomorrow. Dr. Disrespect is taking over the YouTube channel starting at 1 p.m., I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Dr. Disrespect will be on, so if you are a fan of the two-time defending world champ, swing by tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern to check out Dr. Disrespect. So no MLB Q&A stream. Still the solo shot in the morning. Talk about the 15-game slate there. Also, if you want a screenshot of what tomorrow's pitchers look like, there you go. That is tomorrow's pitching slate. Pretty fun ones. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the solo shop. But let's start things off for today by talking to Michael on YouTube. He says, let's win tonight. Michael, let's do it. Guaranteed win. Actually, there are no guarantees, but let's win some money tonight. I agree. Good sentiment. Good vibes. Start off the show for today. Aaron says, Jose Barrios is going out east tonight, is my guest. Are we thinking Mets here, Aaron? I wouldn't mind Mets. I can talk myself into some guys there. Sounds like Dodgers and Padres are up on the list too. That is, you have to go a lot further east to get there, but that could be a consideration as well. John says, you like a stack with Baltimore's top 4 guys? I do. I've not seen their lineup as of yet, so let's pull that up over here. And okay, Mullins, Hayes, Mancini, Stewart. Still no Anthony Santander yet. He's not back from the COVID IL, so I could talk myself easily into all 4 of those guys. Ryan McKenna, though, batting 6th is kind of interesting. I didn't realize he was going to be in there for today, but if you look at his AAA numbers, they are pretty fun. So let's go through that here quick before we make it just the top 4 guys. 79 plate appearances in AAA, 313 ISO. Obviously, that has not translated yet to the big league, so maybe I shouldn't talk myself into McKenna. Maybe I should actively avoid that. Ramon Urias, also a consideration, actually has decent numbers versus righties. So I would say top 5, maybe, John, as being the considerations for Baltimore for today. Pull up Urias's numbers here. Compare them to guys like Stewart. Mancini and Mullins are just the 2 locks here. So you're kind of deciding, okay, between who do I rank highest between Hayes, Stewart, and Urias? I would say Hayes first, Stewart second, and then Urias third. Need a guy to fill out that final spot there. Or if you need a one-off shortstop, anything like that, that could work as well. So yes, on board with all of the top 5 guys in Baltimore for today. Savon on YouTube, what's up, man? I'm curious if you can rate the A's team for me so I can stack them. So let's, I doubt the lineup is in yet. This lists Alex Cobb as a starter. That is not accurate to my understanding. It'll be Dylan Bundy for tonight. Let me just double check though to make sure that has not been refuted. But I'm pretty sure it is Bundy for today. For the Orioles or for the Angels, which would mean, it's actually a revenge game. Oh no, it's not facing the Orioles. What am I talking about? Anyway, Dylan Bundy starting today. It appears. Okay, so we're good to go. So the A's against Bundy, to me, you rank Matt Olson 1 with no thought. You just do it. Let's see what else the projected lineup has here for the A's for tonight versus Bundy. Olson, Laureano, Canna, Chapman, Lowry, Moreland. Okay, perfect. We can rock with that. So let's go here and check out the numbers versus righties. Dun, 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 dun. I actually want to check something quick just on the A's recent lineups here to see what they've looked like recently. Yeah, I don't know why they have Laureano projected to bat 7th in the module here. That seems weird to me. That's why I had to go check, because I was like, did he get moved down? I don't recall this happening, because Laureano tends to be one of the guys we turn to first. Is Starling Marte on the A's here yet? It doesn't appear he is. He's probably not in the player pool at all for tonight then. Yeah. So no Starling Marte. Kind of a bummer, but that is okay. We can still deal with it regardless. So Matt Olson is one. There is no thought involved there. Laureano 2, no thought involved there. That's definitive. Absolutely going to be number 2 for me. Then it gets a bit tougher to grade the guys after that. So let's go back here and check out what the expected line it is. Canna, Chapman, Moreland. I don't like Mitch Moreland that much personally. I guess he has a 156 ISO that has been rising a bit. Canna's at 179. That's probably going to be good enough. He also has 6 stolen bases too. So we'll go Olson 1, Laureano 2, Canna 3. Matt Chapman got off to a really slow start this year because he's had injuries, shoulder injury last year that he was coming off of. So it was a rough start. I want to see what Chapman has done in the month of, let's check since the All-Star break first, just for funsies. 150 ISO, that's in line with his full season number. The StatCast data on him is since the All-Star break. He has 2 barrels in 21 events, 6 hard hit balls. It's not ideal necessarily. So let's expand this here and check out month of July. Get a larger sample here. 8.5% barrel rate, a 43% hard hit rate. That's a bit better. Did have a home run and a barrel last night. So I would say it's probably going to be Chapman 4. So ranking here for the A's, I'm going to go put Montas in there too because I do like him. We'll go Olson. We'll go Laureano. We're going to go with Canna, and then we'll go Chapman. I think that's probably the optimal stack, and we can't use Marte for today for the A's. So this is what I like for the A's stack. But if you have to go Lowry or Moreland, that's fine. Between the two, I would prefer Jed. 41% fly ball rate, plenty of hard contact, high enough ISO. So I would say the Jed's up there, maybe in the Chapman tier. But I think these 3, Olson, Laureano, in a tier by themselves. Canna kind of in a tier by himself, and then Chapman, Lowry, Moreland in the tier after that. Jerry is asking for weather concerns for today. Did have the weather pulled up here via Kevin Roth at Roto Grinders. He thinks we're good to go for Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, which is good because I do think that the pitchers there are pretty interesting. It seems like the Baltimore-Detroit game should be okay. Let me pull up the dark sky weather there. Yeah, it looks like they should be fine. And then the one that he does see some concern with is Toronto and Boston. So if you want to stack the Red Sox, which I would like to do personally, I would make sure you check out Kevin's updated weather forecast at 5:30. So go to @KevinRothWX on Twitter, see what he says at 5:30 about the weather in Boston. Make sure that game is good to go because I would like to stack the Red Sox for today. So Jerry, your checklist games, I think we should be fine with Baltimore and Detroit, but check back on the Toronto and Boston game as well. Danny is asking for the top 2 stacks for today. I've been kind of going back and forth on this throughout the day, and I feel like I do want to go with the A's higher than I had them this morning. So let's go with I might put the A's first, honestly. I can't. I was concerned this morning because Bundy wasn't going to go super deep in the game, but most of the damage in DFS comes the first couple of innings. So I probably shouldn't care as much about that as I did. So Danny, I'm going to put the A's 1. Total change in this morning. They were 4th for me. I'm going to put them 1, I guess. So let's go A's 1. Let's go Tigers 2, Red Sox 3, Orioles 4 as a stack rankings for today. And those 4 do have a decent amount of distance for me above the rest. The Padres would be 5th against Kyle Freeland, but he does a pretty good job suppressing hard contact. So I'll put them 5th. I'm moving the A's up to 1. Pretty radical change from this morning, but they were all in the same tier, and they're still in the same tier. But I keep talking myself more and more into the A's as an option for today. Danny is asking favorite pitcher as well. Also an A, Frankie Montas. He's been outstanding recently. More splitters for him. Also more four-seam fastballs. The splitter usage has been up his past 4 starts. 4-seamers have been down. His past 5 starts. The sample here is his past 5 starts. I wanted the extra started data in there. 3.46 skill interactive ERA, 29% strikeout rate. He had 10 strikeouts against both the Astros and the Mariners. Both those on the road, and he had previously had pretty big home road splits. So that's reassuring to me. So Montas to me number 1. Freddie Peralta 2. Normally Peralta would be 1, but the Brewers have said they're going to limit their starters down the stretch. And we saw the Peralta last time out. Got piggybacked with their Adrian Hauser. Hauser pitched yesterday, so that's not a concern specifically, but they still got dudes they can use. So it's not going to be with Peralta every time. It'll sometimes be with Woodruff, sometimes with Burns, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not like we have to cross him off, but it does sour me a bit. So Peralta's 2. And then third is a little sketchy. We can see if we talk about that later on. Aaron is asking about, Aaron on YouTube, asking about cash on FanDuel, Mitch Moreland or Miguel Cabrera, same salary. So I did kind of poo-poo earlier using Mitch Moreland, but I think I'd rather use him than Miguel Cabrera just because I'm fond of the Tigers versus the lefty, but Cabrera specifically just doesn't tend to have a lot of upside. But the way that I phrase it is I want to have guys who can erase the mistakes I make. So I will make mistakes. I'm going to do some stupid stuff and pick some stupid guys. So I need to have someone who can erase the mistakes. I don't think Cabrera can do that. 071 ISO, even versus lefties. Let's pull up the actual player page here so we can show you the FanDuel point totals. Like, try to guess the last time he had a 20-point game. It might have been recent. I don't know. Either way, let's look. Okay, it was 2 days ago. Either way, he had one then too. So he can top 20, but I want dudes who can get 40. And I don't think Cabrera can do that. Moreland probably can't either. But between the two, I would go Moreland over Cabrera for today. Let's see. Wow. Fun. It's a lot of zeros, bud. Yeah. I mean, I'd still go Moreland, but like, neither are great options if you can avoid them. For cash games, it's probably better, but like I still want dudes who can erase my mistakes there. Alvin, do you like the Padres or the Blue Jays? If I had to pick one, I'd go the Padres because I have a lot of faith in Eduardo Rodriguez. He had great peripherals earlier on this year, but the results weren't good. The results have also been good recently. Did leave his last start early because he was sick. I think he threw up. He was punched over and stuff like that. But it sounds like he's good to go. So I know the Blue Jays are amazing versus lefties, and I want to stack them always. We'll be stacking them tomorrow because they're facing Daniel Lynch, who was very good last time out, but still okay stacking against him. But as a believer in Eduardo Rodriguez, I'm okay being lower on the Jays. So between those two, I would go with the Padres. DJ is asking if Boston got rained out. So let's go, let me check over here to see if there's been an update on that. Doesn't appear if it's been rained out yet. So we should be good to go as of right now for the game, but DJ would check back on that weather later on. Alvin, one lineup, which team would be the 4 in a 4-3-1? So on which team can I most easily talk myself into 4 batters? It'd be Boston or Oakland, I would say, as being the top options there. For Detroit, it's kind of, I think they're better suited for the 3 in the 4-3-1 because the guys I like in Detroit are Scope, Grossman, and Haas. I can talk myself into Candelario. I could talk myself into Zach Short a bit lower in the order, but getting to that 4th guy is tougher. So I would say if you're going 4-3-1, I would be okay making the Tigers be that 3, either the Red Sox or the A's being the 4, and then whichever the Red Sox, the A's you don't use, or if you want to go with Cedric Mullins, the one-off because he's disgusting, I would say that be a consideration. So the Tigers, to me, Alvin, are well-suited for a 3-player stack, whereas I like because with the Red Sox, we can go Martinez, Renfroe, Kike, and then Bogarts. Easy. 4 players there. For the A's, we've got Laureano, Olsen, Canna, and then if you want to go Chapman, you want to go Lowry, et cetera, we can get 4 there. So Tigers are well-suited for a 3-player stack. The A's and the Red Sox very well-suited for a 4-player stack. And I would say the Orioles are well-suited for a 4-player stack too. The Tigers specifically, though, one where I'm okay capping it at 3 for today. Let's talk to DJ. Cool or Mize, and which do I stack with? So it has come up. It will indeed be Chad Cool as my 3rd pitcher for tonight. Do I feel good about it? Obviously, no. You can tell from my voice that I am very sheepish about this and don't feel good about it. But I do feel like he's kind of in play. The sample I have on Chad Cool is his past 6 starts with his 4-seam fastball usage up. And the reason that matters is because his sinker sucks. It's terrible. I hate sinkers in general. Chad Cool specifically is hideous, terrible, really bad pitch. But he realizes that. Kudos to him. He's been leaning more on his 4-seam fastball his past 6 starts and 24% strikeout rate, really good batted ball data. The Brewers will definitely strike out, 25% strikeout rate. So to me, Cool is the number 3 pitcher for tonight And I'm okay using him. I'm going to have a lot more exposure to Montas and Peralta, but Cool will probably be number 3 above Joe Musgrove, above Hyun-Jin Ryu for tonight. Jumping ahead to Kenneth. Kenneth says that it looks like the Padres are close to acquiring Max Scherzer. Okay, let me go over here. Check out. I've got my Twitter account up on my other one just because I want to be able to. Okay, it is. Yep, that is indeed from Ken Rosenthal. Kenneth was not pulling a fast one on us. Max Scherzer likely going to San Diego. That's kind of fun. Probably means that Jose Barrios is not going to be going there. Maybe he'll go to LA. I don't know. We'll see. But Max Scherzer, I'm not sure why they didn't finish that trade before the start today to keep him fresh, but whatever. Either way, the trade deadline is fun this year. This is great. Thank you, Kenneth, for letting us know about that. Okay. DJ also asked, who do I stack with? I would say, again, top stacks for today are going to be A's 1, Tigers 2, Red Sox 3, and then the Orioles number 4. John, who would your top 4 hitters be in Milwaukee's lineup? Again, probably don't want to go with Milwaukee because I do like Chad Kuhl, so I'm not going to stack them personally, given that I think Kuhl is in play. As a pitcher, DJ is telling me I should have faith in Chad Kuhl, so we ride with DJ, we stand DJ, and I think that Chad Kuhl can be okay for tonight. Michael over on YouTube, what about Canna for the A's? Is he a go? He is a go. Yeah, I think that if he plays, I'm down for him. Pretty high ISO for Canna versus righties. I know he's thought of as being a lefty masher, but has a good ISO versus righties, can steal some bases. He's number 3 for me in that A's stack behind Olsen and Laureano. Forrest is also asking if the Red Sox game is rained out. Again, I didn't find anything about that game being rained out, so maybe it is and I haven't seen it. But if it is rained out, let me know if that is the case. Jerry also asked about Cool. We're good to go with that one. Michael asked, is Musgrove a go to stack with? I don't really. So you can talk yourself into Musgrove for tonight because the matchup is so good. The Rockies are legitimately really bad. So like that does bump things up quite a bit. The reason I have a tough time getting there, someone who loves Musgrove, I have profited off Musgrove this year. It's been great. But it's hard for me to get there with how bad he's been recently. This is his past 6 starts with his velocity being down, 18% strikeout rate. He faced the Marlins last week in a plus matchup, 4 strikeouts there. He's at home this time, and the Rockies are worse than the Marlins, but like, I just have a lot of concerns. If I'm picking a third pitcher after we go with Montas and Peralta, I would go Cool over Musgrove. Now, with that said, I probably don't want to stack against Musgrove either because good batted ball data still. The Rockies are really bad, so I think it's just kind of a stay away where I don't want either side of that matchup. Alvin says they win it all if they get Max. Talking about the Padres, I'm okay with that because I have a Padres ticket from earlier this year, the offseason. I think it was 9-1. It was not a good number. But after they got you, I was like, okay, I want to cheer for you this year. And I felt like that was the best route for doing so. So financially, I'm okay if the Padres do win it all for this year. Aaron says, trade buzz with the Cubs. Yeah, no Rizzo and no Bryant today. I feel like if they weren't going to trade them mid-game, they should just let them play to like give them like a send-off at Wrigley. I feel like those dudes specifically deserve that, given how much they've contributed to that team. So kind of a bummer they weren't in there for today. Hopefully, I don't know. I think that they're not at Wrigley tomorrow. So maybe they gave him a send-off. I didn't get to watch the end of that game. But either way, kind of a bummer they didn't play for today if they do want to trade him, which I have to assume that they will. All right, Jerry has given his home run calls, and they are 2 that I agree with. He likes Trey Mancini and Matt Olson. Jerry, I can't push back on it. Those are good calls. Matt Olson was my home run call this morning, and the solo shot is my boring one. So I'm fully on board there. And Trey Mancini, disgusting. He's so fun to cheer for, really good at baseball. Casey Mize, batted ball data has been sliding back recently. So Jerry, thumbs up. I like both those quite a bit. Danny, who is your best value player for today? Let me think about this. So it's not going to be on the A's. Probably not going to come from the Red Sox. Probably going to... So, like, if we're talking value in terms of undersalaried, I think that Cedric Mullins is the most undersalaried guy in the slate. He's like $3,100. He's absurd. So, undersalaried, I would say Cedric Mullins. If we're looking for, like, a value play from a DFS perspective, probably Austin Hayes or DJ Stewart. I did wind up liking both those guys quite a bit when looking at their numbers versus righties, I prefer Hayes overall, but you can make a case for both those guys. I think they're both $2,500 for tonight, so they are easy to get to. Honestly, I'm not thinking salary will be a huge impediment for me across the board. Hayes 25, and then Arias is 23. Stewart's 21. So there you go. I would say DJ Stewart, Ramon Arias, Austin Hayes, all those guys, viable options. No Mountcastle for the Orioles for today. Ralph is asking Montas or Peralta. I'm going to go with Montas personally. Again, it comes down to not having a lot of confidence in the workload for Peralta. They are being smart. And I talk about this a lot where like, I don't want to seem like I'm criticizing a team when I say they're not letting them go deep in games. Like with the Brewers, that's smart. They've got a 7 or whatever game lead in the Central. It makes sense. Freddie Peralta is good. You want Freddie Peralta in October, not July. So I get what they're doing. They're not going to tell us when they're going to piggyback. So every day from this day forward, we need to have some amount of wariness with Peralta, Woodruff, and Burns under the concern that they could limit them and piggyback them in order to save them for October. That's a concern. So that's why he's second for me. I do still like him. If it weren't for that, he'd probably be first over Montas just because the matchup is so much better. But with that being a thing in my mind with Peralta, I will go Montas number 1. Savon, you make this baseball DFS so easy. I love it. It's not easy, so I'm glad that it's coming off as easy. There will be rough points. I guarantee you. It'll happen. So I'm happy for the vibes. I appreciate it. Just letting you know it's a volatile sport and some rough things will happen eventually. But I'm glad it's going well so far. One more question. Are you able to rate Boston for today? Yes, let's do that right now. They're facing Hyun-Jin Ryu, and Ryu is a guy I used earlier this year and do like broadly. Think he's a really fun, good pitcher. Just hasn't had it recently. Strikeout rate down to 16% over his past 7 starts. A lot of hard contact too. So Boston definitely in play for stacking. Again, assuming the weather winds up clearing up there. Boston's pretty easy to rank. It is going to be JD Martinez 1. It will be Hunter Renfroe 2. It'll be Xander Bogaerts 3. He is dealing with a wrist injury. That's a minor concern for me. That's why he's below Renfroe. But he's still number 3 for me. I'll put him there. And then let's check out the rest of the lineup here. We've got, Kike Hernandez. Kike Hernandez, definitely number 4. Should I put Kike above Xander Bogaerts? I should. Given the wrist injury, given the numbers. Yeah, okay. So Martinez, Renfroe, Kike, Martinez, or Bogaerts, I should say. Those are the top 4 by a decent margin. Jarren Duran, I don't know what his splits look like versus lefties in the minors. So hard to have a ton of a firm take there. Verdugo versus lefties. 038 ISO, so definitely pretty low. I'd put Duran above Verdugo for today. Christian Vasquez hasn't shown a lot of power this year. 080 ISO. So I would say those 4, the 1, 3, 4, 5 batters for Boston, all really good. The drop-off occurs after that. Bobby Dahlbeck, I would say, is not the worst idea. 219 ISO, does strike out a ton, but again, Ryu's not striking out a lot of dudes right now. So I would say Dahlbeck might actually wind up being 5th above Duran and above Verdugo, but Duran's in that mix as well. Jerry likes Baltimore for salary savings, maybe Mountcastle and Hayes. No Mountcastle for today with the lineup being out there, but I do think Hayes works, and I think Stewart works, Arias works. I know McKenna hasn't done it in the big leagues yet, but I'm still kind of tempted. So I would still consider McKenna in there as well. All the top 6 guys here are in play, and Hayes, Stewart, Arias, and McKenna can save you salary. Maybe I'm using some wishful thinking on McKenna, but I'm okay doing that to try to be ahead of things. I think it's at least a consideration for me. So Jerry's taking Stewart. He likes DJ Stewart for today. Okay, so DJ Stewart, I think that works too. Very much on board there. Aaron says he imagines Rizzo and Buxton going to the Mets tonight. Aaron, if Byron Buxton gets traded as a result of this, you putting this in the ether, I will be very upset. So it is now on you if Byron Buxton gets traded. And that's why I'm actually not on air tomorrow. It's not Dr. Disrespect. It's because I'll be vomiting if Byron Buxton does get traded. Danny says, thanks for your great intel, brother. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it. DJ says, no send-off yet in the home run. Oh, that's for Bryant and Rizzo. The home run calls for him are Colton Wong, Eric Haas, and Phil Gosselin. Thoughts? Eric Haas, I love. He was the second home run call for today after Matt Olson on the solo shot this morning. So very in there. Gosselin, probably no. Not the biggest power guy against Montas. Montas does let up some impactful contact, so I think you could talk yourself into like Shohei Ohtani, quite good at baseball, but I won't get there. Colton Wong facing Chad Kuhl. Again, I think that Kuhl's pretty good given the contact suppression, but I like it, DJ, pretty bold, and we'll see how those pan out. Jerry also likes Wong and Haas. So we are all in on Eric Haas. Eric Haas, the thumbnail for today on the YouTube link. So we got that going for us. All the good Eric Haas vibes are out there. Again, I think Detroit is best suited for a 3-player stack due to the fact that there aren't really 4 dudes I want to use, but with that said, I feel really good about Scope, Grossman, and Haas. All 3 of those guys definitely work. I think Short works too. He's batting 8th, which is kind of annoying, but I do think that he could work there. DJ is saying Pitt potentially could be rained out. Yeah, again, Kevin said it looked like it'd be okay with some scattered storms. Let me refresh over here to make sure there have not been any updates on that game or the Boston game. Nothing yet. So I would bet we're good to go with the Pittsburgh game. The Boston game, more of a concern. So we'll see how things shake out there. Let's talk to Alvin on YouTube. Process question. I like this. Does it matter to you if batters don't have the results to match the hard hit rate and the fly ball rates this late in the season? Yes, that is why I was able to talk myself out of McKenna a bit, is because he had the power numbers in the minors, but those have not followed into the majors. Hard hit rate's 38%. The fly ball rate is 27%. So that's pretty low. So let's try to think of an example here. Someone who has good batted ball data, but hasn't necessarily come through on. I think that actually Jed Lowry is a pretty good example. If you look at his hard hit rate and his fly ball rate, you would think that Jed Lowry would be like a 200-ish ISO type guy. That's not the case. That could be due to Park potentially, but I mean, it's also Jed Lowry, so it's probably not. So I think this point in the season, Alvin, I'm okay if we have enough data. Like if these are dudes who've been playing the full year, I'm okay lowering the input I put on hard hit rate and focusing. Fly ball rate does still matter this time of year for me because maybe it's unsustainable if they are putting up big power numbers. But like for Lowry, 40% hard hit rate, 41% fly ball rate, that would lead to good numbers. So yes, it is a concern if that does not vibe, and I will put more weight on ISO if I have enough data to do so. So yes, it does matter. And I think that at this point in the year, we can put more weight on results, specifically ISO. That tends to stabilize around like 80-ish plate appearances. It's a small number. So ISO to me is a number we can look at and put weight on that first, and then look at the batted ball data after that to see if we should expect positive or negative regression with the batters we are looking at. Good question, though, from Alvin. Patrick, would you consider a Milwaukee stack? I don't think it's totally out of play. I do like Chad Kuhl as a pitcher, but I don't think that like the Milwaukee stack is totally off the wall. It's a 5-game slate, Patrick. So yeah, I think that you could talk yourself into it. I won't be getting there personally because it's a pretty weak offense and because Kuhl does or has been doing a good job with contact suppression, but they're not off the radar. So they're not for me personally, but I don't think they're off the radar. Patrick, if your process led you to the Brewers, trust that. Trust your process as always. But for me personally, they are not a team I'll be stacking for today. Jerry, would you stack a 3-man Baltimore and a 3-man Oakland with maybe Mullins and Mancini if you can get there? With Kuhl as your pitcher, your thoughts? With Kuhl as a pitcher, you could probably go a bit harder. I would try to get to a 4-player Oakland stack and then lop off Mancini. I think that's the way I'd want to play that because I want the upside of the 4-player stack. So for me, give me the 4-player Oakland stack and go with Mullins. I mean, Mancini, you could talk yourself into too. So I'm not saying ignore Mancini in favor of Mullins. I just love Mullins because he has multiple paths to blowing the slate open. So I would opt for a 4-player Oakland stack with Mancini or with Mullins in there if you can make that work. And then Michael, final question here: Frazier or Machado for San Diego, and is it with stacking? So again, I'm a little bit lower on stacking San Diego just because of I think that Freeland does a good job with contact suppression, but between those two, definitely Machado. Frazier's not a big enough upside guy for me, given the lack of dingers. So Machado for me for sure. And I think that like he works as a one-off. I know I'm not as high on stacking San Diego, but I think that Machado, Tatis, guys like that work for one-offs. So I'm on board there. And then Jerry likes Detroit as well. So Jerry, I like that. I think the Detroit players, you could go there. Maybe you go Haas as a one-off if you're going to stack Baltimore there. I think that could work too. That is all that we have here for today. And once again, we are not here tomorrow because Dr. Disrespect will be on air at 1 p.m. on the FanDuel YouTube page. So if you want some thoughts on MLB DFS, feel free to tune in. 9 o'clock on YouTube for the solo shot that will also be up on the Number Fire Daily Fantasy Podcast feed. Right after that, you can find the Number Fire Daily Fantasy Podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. I'll take some questions on Twitter as well at Jim Sonis. If you have any questions over there. Big thank you to Joy Affleck, our video producer, for running the video side of things here today. Joy is also running a draft stream tonight. So Joy, a true trooper for the FanDuel content team. Joy, we appreciate you. Well done as always. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Good luck to you tonight. We'll talk to you once again tomorrow for the solo shot. Outside of that, have a great weekend. This has been the FanDuel Live Q&A.